After fleeing Egypt, Moses entered a new chapter of his life in the land of Midian, leaving behind both the burdens and privileges of his past. This phase marked the beginning of a long period during which God quietly prepared him for the monumental role of leading the Israelites out of bondage. Though Moses did not yet know it, God's preparatory work was already underway, taking place through seemingly ordinary experiences. Moses arrived in Midian and sat by a well. This moment turned out to be pivotal, as it led to an encounter that would change his life. The daughters of Jethro, also known as Reuel, the priest of Midian, came to draw water, but were harassed by some shepherds. True to his sense of justice, Moses stepped in and defended the women, driving the shepherds away. This act of courage won him the admiration of Jethro's daughters, and Moses was invited to their home. Jethro, recognizing Moses' integrity and valor, welcomed him into his household. In time, Moses married Zipporah, one of Jethro's daughters, and they started a family. They had a son named Gershom, whose name reflected Moses' feelings of being a foreigner in a strange land. Gone were the days of royal privilege in Egypt. Moses now led the life of a humble shepherd, tending flocks and living far from the grandeur he had once known. Yet, this quieter phase was a time of growth and refinement, where Moses learned patience, humility, and resilience, traits essential for the role he was to play in the future. Meanwhile, back in Egypt, the Israelites continued to suffer under harsh slavery. Their cries for deliverance rose up to God, who remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God's faithfulness to his promises remained steadfast, even though his methods and timing were beyond human understanding. Though unseen by Moses, God's plan was in motion. One day, while Moses was tending Jethro's flock near Mount Horeb, he encountered an extraordinary sight: a bush that was ablaze with fire but was not consumed. Drawn by curiosity, Moses approached the bush and heard God's voice calling him by name. It was here that God revealed his divine plan to Moses. He was to lead the Israelites out of Egypt and into freedom. The miraculous encounter was life-changing, yet Moses expressed hesitation, questioning his capability to undertake such a mission. God, however, reassured him with a powerful promise: "I will be with you." This assurance emphasized that God's presence would be Moses' source of strength and guidance. Moses' time in Midian was a testament to the way God works behind the scenes. From his arrival at the well to his encounter at the burning bush, each moment was a step in God's plan to transform him from a prince of Egypt into the deliverer of his people. Applications: God's preparation in ordinary seasons. The years Moses spent as a shepherd in Midian might have seemed uneventful compared to his life in Egypt, yet these years were essential for his growth. This teaches us that God often uses ordinary and quiet times to prepare us for significant responsibilities. We should value every season, trusting that each stage is part of God's preparation for what is to come. Courage to defend others. Moses' defense of Jethro's daughters showed that true integrity manifests consistently, whether in a palace or a desert. This encourages us to stand up for justice and protect others, even when the situation seems small or we are far from the eyes of others. Trusting in God's faithfulness. Even as Moses was in Midian, God was already at work. The Israelites' cries and God's remembrance of his covenant remind us that God hears, remembers, and acts according to his promises. We can hold on to this assurance when facing prolonged challenges or waiting for answers. Divine encounters at unexpected times. Moses' encounter with the burning bush came during an ordinary day of shepherding. This teaches us that God can reveal himself during the most unexpected moments. We should remain open and attentive, as God may speak to us during routine tasks or quiet reflections. Relying on God's strength, not our own. Moses' initial reluctance to accept God's call highlighted the common human struggle with doubt. God's response, "I will be with you," is a powerful reminder that we are not alone in our challenges. We can step out in faith, trusting that God will equip and empower us for what He has called us to do.